Hi everyone, welcome to today's team meeting. I just want to thank y'all for pressing play on these videos because ever since I was a little kid, one of the things I liked to do was encourage people. So I was that kid in the classroom when we had a new person. I was like really eager to make them feel comfortable and show them around. And so it's just in me to help bring comfort and inspiration and laughter, even if it's at my expense, to you. So doing this for me is as much as I'm doing it for you. So thank you for attending this meeting. So today is a Friday. So Friday is for lovers. That sounds weird because I'm not talking about intimacy with another person, although when you talk about love for yourself, it does affect your ability to be intimate, emotionally and physically. This is a clean show. I'm not gonna go too far, but let's be real. How you love and view yourself is affecting everything that you're dealing with in life. And Fridays, we like to talk about love, how to love yourself better, how to be good to yourself, how to be kind to yourself. That's the agenda topic. But before we get there, a couple of updates. One, I have 3 episodes up on my podcast. I had a lot of trouble getting here, like technical difficulties, and I have no IT team. So I had to redo my introduction 3 times, but I think the 3rd time is actually better. It's shorter, it's more to the point, and I just like it better. It took 3 tries, and I was frustrated because I didn't release it first. It just wasn't ready. So it's up now. It's the introduction to me and to my hips. So I feel like I'm shiny. Am I? Or is that the sun beaming on my face? Okay. Anyway, that's the one thing. 3 episodes up. Go wherever you can get free podcasts. Look up The Team Meeting. Doesn't matter if you have Android, iPhone. Go to Spotify. I'm getting on Pandora, iHeartRadio, The Team Meeting Podcast. Look it up. And you'll hopefully find it quickly. If not, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you. Happy to help you. Second thing, I saw a picture of my nephew's uncle's pig. And I've got some competition there because that pig is cute. He's really tiny. He's like George from Peppa Pig. I don't know, those of you who have children that watch Peppa Pig. This pig is so tiny. He's like this big. He's like George from Peppa Pig. Adorable. Of course, he's gonna grow. But until then, I need to make sure that I establish myself as also cool without getting a pig. So I'm still working on it. I had a little chat with my nephew yesterday. I reminded him that maybe he needed to get ready so we could do TikTok dances and maybe we can put something out there that's viral, and then I could get like some extra brownie points, cool points. I'm working on it. Meanwhile, that pig is cute. George Clooney is the only person I knew had a pig. Now I know 2 people who have a pig. I don't think George still has his. Today, let's get into it about self-love. So I was reading a Huffington Post article that talked about insights people had from their therapy sessions this year. And I wanted to share 5 things that I thought stood out and could apply to anyone. Now, you know, I say it all the time, and I will continue to say it. I'm a fan of therapy. I believe in it. I believe it is helpful. I believe it is healthy. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's attractive to see someone work on getting better and develop strategies and get resources to help them be healthy. Doesn't matter if you had a troubled, quote unquote, childhood. Doesn't matter if you don't think you've had trauma. Having a third party to actually talk to you or you talk to about your challenges in life is a beautiful thing. I highly recommend it. Insurances cover it. And with what we had with 2020, everybody probably needs to check in on something. Get a book, call your insurance company, get a book that maybe deals with issues that you're feeling. Call your insurance company to see if there's a therapist that will be covered by your insurance. Seek free therapy. I think that's even been offered by people. Reach out. And sometimes the religious community, and I'm a person of faith and I understand this, they think if you go to therapy, that means you're not trusting in the divine and God. Not true. Just like going to the doctor, you take the prescription or you go to the doctor to use them as a resource. It doesn't mean that's your God. It doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're putting faith into. It means it becomes a resource. So stop judging yourself. Stop judging that process and consider it. So here are 5 things that I have to read them. I couldn't memorize them. 5 things that I learned. You hear the birds? It's just a lovely day out here. Arizona weather. Arizona weather in January. I'm wearing a hoodie and I'm a little hot, and maybe you can see I'm like a glazed donut up here. I don't know. I feel like I'm a glazed donut. Anyway, we're going with it. All right, Fridays are for lovers. So we're going to talk the 5 things that jumped out for me. Because remember, everything that you're doing right now is affected, impacted, influenced by how you feel about yourself. So if you hate you, it's reflected, whether you say it or not. It's reflected in how your inability to say no to people when they ask you for things, your inability to admit when you're overwhelmed, your inability to admit when you need a break, your inability to make a suggestion on what you guys should eat, where you want to go for a date, what you desire to do, your inability to know what you like. It's all influenced by how you feel about yourself. So let me get into these quotes. Uh-oh. They're not on the page. Okay, here they are. Be gentle with yourself. That's what someone said that they learned in therapy in 2020. Have you ever been through a pandemic? Then I think we all need to give ourselves a break and be gentle with ourselves. If you snapped at people in your household, if you've been mean, if you think you've been lazy, I'm going to urge you to be gentle with yourself. Next, allow yourself to feel grief. I did a very emotional post yesterday about grieving because my father died at a very early age. And now I'm basically his peer, and I'm living longer than he lived on this earth. And it made me very emotional when I came to realize that you never stop grieving the person who's died. And I've kind of shifted that to think, well, I'm just gonna bring honor to him in the years that I have had beyond where his life stopped. His life on earth stopped, if that makes sense. So allow yourself to feel grief. And some of you are right there in the middle of it right now with people who've passed in 2020, early in 2020, 2019, whenever. It could be 20 years ago like me. And maybe this whole trauma is triggering it to come back. Okay, next one. Don't be afraid to have difficult conversations. I mean, pandemic brings out everything. You spending more time with people in the house, confined, feeling frustrated, taking it out on people. Maybe you need to address things that you usually just overwork, stay out of the house, stay busy, and don't address those things that are bothering you. But if you're stuck in the house, not stuck, if you're confined in the house, if you're quarantined in the house, those things that you always ignore, maybe it's time to talk about them. So you cannot be afraid to have a conversation about something that's bothering you. Practice before you have it. So maybe you don't go in too hot with, and another thing, I told you this and I told you that. Okay? Glazed donut. All right. Next one, that leads to another one. Be helpful with your words. So when you want to lash out and give it to them at work on the Zoom meeting, or your family, your kids, your dog, your friends, or on Twitter, if you go too hard on someone who has a different political view, or Facebook, be helpful with your words. I'm a very passionate person. And every political season, I have to control my emotions to make sure that I still operate with empathy and not too much heat to where I'm being what I oppose. Like, I don't want to be the aggressor who hates everybody, who doesn't believe in justice the way I believe in it. So there's a balance. Being helpful with my words means I'm standing for justice. I'm standing against tyranny, against coups, against nonsense, against conspiracy theories. You can believe in it. And I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to choose to be helpful with my words when I talk to you about it, and not come at you or whoever in Twitter because that's where it gets really hot in Twitter, because you've got the attorneys, you've got the people on the campaigns for the different political candidates, you got congressmen, senators, all these people tweeting. You could just get your point out right then, which is why our president liked to tweet, because you could just get your thought out right then. You could just give it to somebody like that. Be helpful with your words is that point. Your voice matters is the next point. I don't care if you're in the Zoom meeting and you're the person that gets paid the least amount of money. If you have a point, get it up. Straighten your spine, take a deep breath, and say it. No more are we going to be intimidated by status, by whether or not you went to college, whether or not you went to an Ivy League college, or state school, or trade school, or no school, or GED, or dropped out, not to be intimidated. Nope, you don't drive a Mercedes, the shiny truck that has all the sharp edges. Maybe you drive a car that's paid for and it's inexpensive. That doesn't make you less when you're dealing with people. Your words matter, your voice matters. Don't be limited in what you say because you think your body mass index is too high compared to the person with the flat abs. So you can't speak up or you can't talk about your fitness journey because your abs aren't flat. Stop it. So how did we do the 5? Be gentle with yourself. 1, allow yourself to feel grief. 2, don't be afraid to have difficult conversations. 3, be helpful with your words. 4, your voice matters. 5, we made it through 5 points on Fridays Are for Lovers. I am going to keep preaching that you need to be kind to yourself, y'all. I have spent many years being unkind to myself. How did it show up? It showed up with me saying yes when I should have said no to people who asked more of me than I should have given. Money, time, relationship, all the things. I should have said no, but I decided that I was tough. I could handle their intrusion on my space because they needed me. They needed help. They were having a hard time. So they began to matter more than me. Their voice mattered, their life mattered, their problems mattered. Don't do what I did. Learn from me. If you need to say no, no is a complete sentence, y'all. If you need to say, I'm not comfortable with this, it's okay to say it. And they may not respond in the way like, okay, I'll change it. But at least you know where you stand. And if they don't change, maybe you have to make some sort of adjustment in how you deal with that person. But you still get to say what bothers you. You get to set boundaries. I was horrible at boundaries. There's still areas for me to grow, but I am better. And so I'm going to use my life experience as an example. I filed bankruptcy behind friendship, combining income. I filed bankruptcy because of someone else's habits in my 20s, like in grad school. You're already broke sometimes when you're in school, and so it all compounded into a big mess. And for years, I suffered behind that. I was the only one suffering behind that because it was my name. I've forgiven. I've moved on. It has not affected me. I mean, I have a really great credit score. I learned how to treat it like a newborn. My credit score is like a newborn, right? But I made mistakes there in the way that I allowed myself to be treated. So I'm here to tell you the mistakes I made so that you can be free. So we meet Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Let me get rid of that. We meet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have team meetings that are becoming communities. Today's action for you is to think about therapy, number 1, and think about what lessons you need to be applying of the 5 that I mentioned. You need to be kinder to yourself. Set some boundaries. Be helpful with your words, though. You matter, but be helpful with your words. If you need to practice what you need to say to someone, do that. Get a lot of alerts here.